Hi everyone, and welcome to the Happy Channel. I'm sorry that we had to miss a week. Life has just been really crazy right now, end of term, and lots of papers and all that jazz, so sorry we missed a week, but I hope you enjoyed the videos of my nephew Benjamin. He's the cutest thing in the world. Just a couple little things to catch up on. First is I had a ton of computer problems 2 weeks ago, and long story short, I had to delete all my videos. So that's why if you saw my intro had changed to clips of videos, now it's gonna be, I don't even know what it's gonna be yet, so you'll watch it and see what it is, but that's why that had to change. I don't know how to recover, I don't know how to take the videos from YouTube that I have posted and get them back. I don't know if that's even possible to do. So if you know how to do that, just let me know. The other thing is, I'm sorry I'm in my work uniform, but I'm just so rushed right now. This is my last day of 7 days in a row, so I'm just really rushed. I'm trying to make soup as we speak, so I don't know how safe that is, but oh well. Anyway, so today's video is actually going to be on the importance of voting, because if those of you who are up on political world news, Canada's going to be having a federal election on May 2nd. And one thing that's a really big problem in Canada is the young people are not going out to vote. So I wanted to talk about how important that is and what to do if you're like, I don't follow this at all. Why should I even bother voting? It's super important to vote, because if you don't vote, you're not exercising your right to vote. And if you don't vote at all, it's like saying, well, I don't care. I don't care about living in a democracy. So it's so important to vote. If you are so confused and you have no idea who to vote for, a really cool new thing that they put out this year, CBC put it out, is the Voters Compass. I just typed in CBC Vote Compass into Google and it came right up. I did it a couple of times, because if you don't know a lot about politics, there are a couple questions where you don't even know what they're talking about. So I would go Google what they're talking about, Wikipedia, whatever, learn what that is, and then I can go back and answer the question. And once it's all said and done, don't be alarmed by where you are. It gives you this sort of like diagram with almost like a arrow thing, and it's where you sit on the voters compass. Well, don't be alarmed if you're like, I don't think that's right at all. You can go back in and review every single question, and it shows where your answer is compared to where all the political parties sit. So just because it's putting you on this weird spot in the final scale, go back in and look at your questions, because even just going through those questions and seeing where all the political parties sit, it really helps you decide, okay, this is who I feel closest to. If you're done all of those things and you're like, man, I still don't agree with any of it, don't be afraid to still go vote and spoil your vote. If you don't know what that is, it's you go and you still vote, but you put a mark in every single box. So you're still exercising your right to vote, but you're just saying, I'm sorry, I don't agree with what anybody is doing. So that is that. Now, a couple things I wanted to talk to you about are some interesting facts about voting. I actually was reading my school's newspaper, and there were some really interesting points made. So they were talking to two people, Ross Hickey, who's a economics professor at UBCO, and Richard Johnson, who's a professor of political science at UBC Vancouver. So these two guys know quite a lot about politics, and they had some really interesting things, because a lot of people complain about the cost of an election, because it really is expensive. Let's see, this year they said that the cost is estimated to be around $300 million, so that is a lot of money. But Hickey states, despite whatever economic fallback an election may result in, they are nonetheless necessary. While it's tempting to consider the costs and benefits of having an election, the exercise is not very enlightening. Elections are part of our democracy and our economy. While voting takes time and conducting the election uses resources that would otherwise be used in other ways, without elections, we wouldn't have the healthy democracy that we enjoy, nor the economy that we enjoy. So I thought that was a really interesting point because yes, they do cost a lot, but it is part of our democracy and we're really lucky to have that in this country. And he says election is the cost of doing business, which I thought was kind of funny. He also says that complaining about the cost of an election is like complaining about paying rent for your apartment. Comparing it to rent, he said, it would be nice if the payments were lower and less frequent, but making those payments surely beats couch surfing or sleeping on the street. So that I thought was some really interesting points. And one other thing to remember when you're voting, which a lot of people get confused about, is when you go to vote, on the sheet that has the names, you're not actually going to see, you know, Stephen Harper's name or Jack Layton's name. No, it's going to be the name of the person in your particular riding, and what you're actually doing is voting for that person to go represent you and your riding in the House of Commons. So that's another thing to consider too. If you go through the voters compass and, you know, you think that you're not quite fit for the right party that it's saying that you are, maybe do some local research and see what the people in your riding are saying they're going to do for your particular area, because maybe that is more important to you. So those are just some thoughts to think about. I tried to look up, you know, some jokes in regards to voting, but there really was nothing out there at all. It was quite sad. Voting is apparently very serious. Another thing to mention too is voting day is May 2nd, but if you're not going to be around at that time, there's always advanced polling. I myself will be going to advanced polling because I'm not going to be here on May the 2nd. So don't forget about that. That's not an excuse not to vote. And just, I think you can go online to figure out where your advanced pollings are. Mine came on my voter's card in the mail, so I don't know. Another interesting thing to know is those of you who don't know what suffrage is the women's right to vote. So if people are making jokes to you saying, end suffrage? No. It's actually the women's right to vote. And I just wanted to tell you that because if you've ever heard of The Man Show, they did this segment on The Man Show where they set up this booth getting women to sign a petition to end suffrage, because none of the women knew that suffrage is actually when women won the right to vote. So just wanted to let everybody know that, so now you know. So please vote. If you're a person who's never voted before, don't be scared. Grab a friend, go vote. You need to bring a piece of ID and something that proves your address that matches the correct riding that you should be voting in, and do it. It's kind of fun. You're exercising your right to vote, and democracy is so important. And we're so lucky that we have it in the country we live in, so don't forget to vote. It's so important. And I will see everybody next week. I am planning on having a special guest next week, so I just haven't got full confirmation on it yet, but it should be really fun. So don't forget to vote, and I'll see everybody next week. Have a super happy day. Bye!